Hello guys, it is Teenage Marvel Fan back with another video, and in today's video I will be reviewing the latest episode of Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and this episode is titled The Real Me, and this episode features the debut of Valkyrie, or at least the MCU version of Valkyrie, Scrapper 142, and this has a pretty interesting story in the episode. This and the last episode are kind of like a two-parter. That's just not in the title, but it's a continuation of the story. And when you start off the episode, the Guardians are headed towards nowhere, and they're going to meet up with Cosmo. But then some woman is trying to break into their ship, so then they maneuver the ship to, like, flicker off of it, and then they get away from her. And then they land on nowhere, and they're on their way towards where Cosmo is. I think he calls it the neurocortex or something like that. So then they're like just walking around, and then Valkyrie shows up. Well, they don't know that it's Valkyrie. I kind of just spoiled it for you if you hadn't seen it yet. But yeah, it's that strange woman. It's Valkyrie. But anyway, so then the Guardians realize that she's following them, but they don't know that it's Valkyrie yet. So then they decide to use the element of surprise to their advantage. So then they like corner her, but then even though they caught her by surprise, she still beat them up. Until Groot did. He did something with his breath. He like just breathed on her and it like knocked her out. But then they took off her hood and stuff, and then they realized that it was Valkyrie, and then they basically explained who the Valkyries were, and all that good stuff that I already knew, because I mean, I'm a Marvel fan, of course I know that stuff. But then Valkyrie wakes up again, and then she basically explains that she's going to help them, but then they still don't trust her, so then they like try to get away, I think, and then they do, as far as I'm aware of. I don't have a very good memory, so I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of winging it here, but whatever. So then Peter Quill, he goes to the diner, and then he finds Jakku, but then he starts fighting Jakku and realizes that he's one of those robots. And then a couple other robots show up and start fighting him. But then the other Guardians are walking around, and then Jakku ends up finding the other Guardians and starts fighting them, but you don't see Peter yet. So then they end up fighting the robot, and then Valkyrie jumps out of nowhere and just stabs the robot. And then she explains that they're called Darkhawks, and they can manipulate their appearance. So they're basically the robot version of Skrulls. That would actually be a pretty cool battle to see, like the Skrulls versus the Darkhawks, because they can both like shapeshift and stuff. So that would be cool. But anyway, so she basically explains it all, and then they begin to trust her. But then Peter does not show up. They go looking for him. So Valkyrie and Gamora go looking for him, and then Groot, Rocket, and Drax go looking for him. So they like split up, and then Valkyrie and Gamora find him, and then she goes to the comlink and says, "Hey guys, no need to keep looking. We found him." And then Rocket, Drax, and Groot show up, and then they're like, "We found him too." So there's two Quills now. One of them is the Darkhawk, and one of them is not. But they have no idea which is which. So then, and there's no way to figure it out, because the Darkhawks have like an exact memory of person, so that it's not like they could just ask questions or anything, because they know everything and stuff. So then they decide to go back to their journey to Cosmo because he could figure it out. But then they arrive, and then Cosmo's acting weird, because then that's when they realize that Cosmo is a Darkhawk too. And when Cosmo transforms into his Darkhawk form, it just looks so awesome, because it's basically like a robotic dog with wings, and he just looks very cool. So then they start fighting him, and then more Darkhawks show up, and then after a while, the Darkhawk version of Quill starts doing something on the computers that taps into the mainframe, and then gets these claws to come down and grab the Guardians, as well as Valkyrie. And then they basically explain their plan, how they are going to take over the universe, and if they shapeshift into Valkyrie, then they could infiltrate Asgard. And so then they obviously know the evil Darkhawk version of Quill, but then Quill comes up with a plan to use magnets to like stop them, because they're made of metal, so magnets would stop them. So then they do that, and then they get like sucked together towards the magnets, but only for a little bit, because they're smart robots, and then they just destroy the magnet thing, and then they're free. But then Quill does something, and he ends up in his underwear for some reason, and then the evil Darkhawk Quill takes off his clothes, so he's just in his underwear, so then they won't know which is which. And then Gamora covers her eyes and asks what color her eyes are, and then one Quill says yellow, and then she uncovers her eyes, and she has yellow eyes. So then that one that said she had yellow eyes, she kicks him into the portal that would send him back to the Darkhawk world or whatever. And that's because she knew that that the real Peter wouldn't actually know the answer to that. And that's kind of sad, because like they're in love with each other and stuff, but he doesn't know that. But the fake one did. So that's how she knew. So then Valkyrie does something so that a bunch of crates fall on Cosmo, or Darkhawk Cosmo. So then he's like knocked out and stuff, and then Valkyrie tells Heimdall to open the Bifrost. So then Heimdall opens the Bifrost, and they all travel to Asgard. But then just as they leave, Darkhawk Cosmo comes out of the crates, so he's still alive and stuff. But then over in Asgard, Heimdall welcomes the Guardians. And then I assume this story will be continued in the next episode. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video so I can bestow all my Marvel knowledge upon you.